Welcome everybody to a extremely exciting RSC stream. Today we have a RSC EU versus NA show match. My name is Hopser. You may know me if you are from the EU scene as one of the casters, but we have Senji as broadcaster and we are joined by a very special guest called Huts. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great, Hops. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be able to be on the EU stream as I spent a lot of time on the NA stream. Excited to get to see a little bit of head-to-head inter-regional play between the EU teams and the NA teams. I'm sure it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it looks like we've got some really interesting matchups ahead. I mean, I know the EU teams fairly well as you've been casting them. I'm sure you know the NA teams extremely well as well. But our first matchup is Deathlok versus Mastiffs. That's going to be a very interesting matchup indeed. It is off the minor bracket for the Deathlok, and I believe your team is major, if I don't get me
Correct.
wrong. And so that's going to be exciting. Indeed, we do understand that the way that we rank our teams and our leagues is slightly different on the MMR. So we have acquainted it so the games will be as close as possible. So we have got some exciting matchups indeed. Possibly if we can jump maybe straight into the stats, Senji, to have a look at what these teams face up. Oh, no mistake. The coin flip is up first. So the coin flip, the way it's going to work is the team who wins the coin flip is going to host games 1, 3, and 5. And then the team who loses it will host games 2 and 3. That is server as well. That's just to make though the games are as easy and as fair as possible. And then if it does go to game 5, the team that won the coin flip will host that game 5. So it's exciting stuff. So I believe we have a graphic for this coin flip. Am I correct, Senji? And so let's go to this coin flip. So I believe the heads is the side with the writing and the tails are the side with the image. And so let's have this coin flip, Senji. Exciting stuff. So it is heads. Which teams selected heads? Senji, can you let us know? Okay, so it's Europe that won it. So we're looking at the Europe side hosting games 1, 3, and 5. Exciting stuff. I mean, tell me, speak to me. Do you think, Huds, that the servers will affect the game types and how equal the teams are?
I mean, I definitely think that it's going to be a little bit of an advantage for the EU teams, but with that being said, even East Coast NA servers, like East Coast NA players, well, it's not going to be hateful. I mean, it'll probably be 100, 120 ping for those players, and then switching back to the other side, I'm sure that we'll see the same thing for the EU players on the NA servers. So it'll definitely be a little bit of an equalizer, but that extra game advantage will be huge for the EU teams.
Yes, indeed. So the EU will be hosting the first game, and obviously, if it does go to game 5, that advantage is on the side. And we do talk about the ping and the ping issues. That may be something that is arisen when you are playing Rocket League. So that must be taken into account throughout these games. And now, do we get to do my favorite thing, which is get to look at some stats? Is that possible? I believe so. The stats are popping up on the stream for everybody. So just trying to look, but we see the team statistics here. Tell me, speak to me, Huds. What stands out for you?
I mean, the biggest thing for me, we're seeing them being pretty even as far as like win-loss differential goes, but the extra 16 games that Deathlok have played over Mastiffs is going to be, they've just had a little bit more time to get to know each other, a little bit more time to, just have those chemistry moments and the chemistry within the lineup. Mastiffs in RSC NA were about 2/3 of the way through our season, maybe a little bit less. So teams are getting to that point, but also looking at where the Mastiffs sit third in their conference, they're closer to the top of that table. So I think that we should see a very evenly matched things between these two. Looks like the saves against number is the one with the biggest disparity, and then goals against as well. So
Hmm.
Deathlock may be used to a little bit more skill on their side. So maybe the Mastiffs are going to put up a challenge for them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And quickly, for the EU people watching, can you explain the conferences to us?
So the way that the conferences work is that we split our 32 tier teams, which major is one of, as well as minor. I can't remember if this is a major or minor team, but it's the same for both of them. So the conferences are just half of each one, so 16 teams make up each conference, and then within those conferences we have 4 divisions each of 4 teams. So third
Okay.
in the conference of 16 teams means that they're towards the top half of the teams in the league.
Oh, fantastic to hear. So, for NA players, EU runs it in. We have 5 different leagues: Elite, Major, Minor, Challenger, and Prospect. And the teams are selected. Well, teams drop. Each team has a franchise, and franchises have a team in each one of those leagues, and they compete for the top. So, where EU is a smaller confederation, granted. However, that's the way we run it. But it is going to be interesting to see what happens within this coming game as we are trying to get the players into the lobby. But let's pull up some player statistics. Deathlok, I'll go through Deathlok real quick and then I'll go over to Mastiffs. Frizzle Mashizzle, the captain, Myken, Mashi, and Schlager. For me, the player to watch is Mash. He has been having a lights out season so far with 57 saves. He's been an absolute menace in defense, and he pairs very, very well with Frizzle, who is a renowned and very well respected player and captain in the community. So those on the EU side are the players to watch. But what about the Mastiffs?
Mastiff side, I mean, one of the things to remember is that the Mastiffs have got 16 less games played on the season. So looking at Alpha's save numbers equaling those of Mashi's is a pretty huge stat, having the same amount of
True.
save numbers with 16 less games. But then we've also got Bama 45, Surge, and Ty. All 4 of these guys looking like they do an equal share of the games played. Nobody's really your starting 3. It looks like everybody's coming out, but then everybody having that pretty solid, just a sub 50% win percentage. You want to see those numbers be a little bit higher, but keeping that up that high over the course of 64 games in a season definitely is hard to maintain. But these guys, that 57 saves for Alpha, and then 41 goals for Bama is going we're going to be looking to him to carry the offense for the Mastiff.
Indeed, and you did point out that stat. That stat line is extremely impressive. 57 saves in just 39 games. So we'll be looking for Alpha to be patrolling around that defense and not giving Deathlok any opportunity to breathe. But I put prediction chat for you guys to vote in chat. So please go ahead and predict. And Huz, would you mind telling me what your prediction is for the outcome of this series?
I think we're gonna see it go to 5. I think with the way that the servers are set up and having them go back and forth between each one, we're gonna see it go all the way to 5 games. But a little bit of the caster desk bias. I have to say that the Mastiffs are gonna take this first one. I'm sure you've got to say that the Deathlok are gonna take the first series. So it's kind of split down the middle. But I'm sure that we're gonna see all 5 games come out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It is going to go to game 5. I'm sure of it. It's going to be a fantastic series. But yeah, you're completely right. I am going to say Deathlock. I am the curse. You have to be biased to your own region. But regardless, what I am looking forward to is I know that this is going to be some quality Rocket League played. But we have got all the players in the lobby. It would be good for them to join their respective sides and get this game underway. No, we're having Huds, are you into the lobby?
It
Senji is asking.
I'm getting the game server is full currently as I'm trying
Uh,
to join.
One of the subs of one of the teams needs to leave then probably. Schlage has left, so there we go. We
There we
should
go.
be able to get you in now. That should be all Gucci. But we are just getting the teams, players onto their respective teams, and it's looking like the chat is in voting in favor of Deathlock. But I assume that's probably because it is the EU Twitch stream here, and so that may be favoring that side. But it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to 5 games ahead as the players are joining their respective teams, and we're going to get underway. I'm excited, Huds. I don't know about you.
I'm very excited to see these guys go at it. I think that we're going to have a great stuff between all 3 of these series today. And then I saw on chat earlier, Liquid Sight, one of the organizers for this actually pointed out that in the past, we've seen some upsets come out of the away teams in these matchups. The teams with a high ping disadvantage have managed to take a couple games where they, shouldn't have, in air quotes, shouldn't have. So we'll be interested to see if any of these NA teams can maybe grab one of these EU games and flip the script.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And Senji, you've got a black screen? I hope you're aware of that. Okay, so guys, you can hear our voice. It is currently 0-0. We see Bananas actually, Bama even trying to put some pressure onto the side of Deathlok, but Deathlok acting really well in defense as Myken comes off the bat wall, knocking it forward. Mash is there, but Bama's actually gets a demo onto Myken. Alpha waiting for the ball, popping it high, going off to the backboard, looking for maybe a pass into the center, but it is blocked once again. Arcus is there, trying to tap it towards the goal. Can it be finished? No, it is saved brilliantly by Frizzle Mashizzle. What a save from him, but it is all currently, it's all the NA team of Mastiff putting pressure onto Deathlok's side. Very impressive attack from him to start.
Yeah, it's been pretty dominant so far offensively, sitting about 130 ping for the NA team. It's not showing that they're having any trouble with it quite yet, but still a lot of time left to be played here in this first game.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And I feel like there's a lot of the biggest issue that comes when it comes to server connection is that packet loss. That's when your frames start to go, and you do not want to see that. But right now, Bama putting a lot of pressure on, being a very fast-moving player as Frizzle tries to knock it around the last defender. A good UI redirect from Alpha forces Myken to have to use his boost and get that clearance. Bama once again controlling that midfield, going for a bit of an aerial. Can he pop into the center? No, Mash is there with a brilliant save. Now Mash trying to pick up that back boost, but Alpha beats him to it off the bat ball once again, but nobody able to follow it up. Some brilliant rotations coming out of Mastiff. Bama almost chipping Mashy, but just having enough tip of a flip to get a save. What rotations coming out of Deathlok, but we see a Rule 1 going on.
Yeah, they've been playing twos for about the last 30 seconds. I noticed the Rule 1 between Frizzle and I believe it is Ty over on the right side in the blue half. You know, these players, fortunately, they're pretty experienced playing all kinds of game modes at this level. Nobody's really a twos or a threes mains anymore, so you gotta play twos for a little bit. Alpha missing an open net there, an opportunity for the NA team to get on top early, and it's wasted. We're still at 0. The Rule 1's still going on, but we'll see if it gets broken up when we go back to threes here soon.
Yeah, I mean, I am enjoying it. It's a nice little bit of a change, a bit of a twos game. You cannot beat that whatsoever. Mash actually missing the flip. Myken has something to do now, but Bama reads it very well in that center. Mash now looking for the pass over to Myken. Myken able to have a shot, but not enough power behind it, leaving Bama with a rather easy clearance. Now, keeping on with these 2-on-2s, you know what I liked? I like to see the respect. They're holding that Rule 1 with respect. No, not breaking it, and I really commend that.
I'm waiting for somebody to bump into them and break it up, but even then, it seems like the other players that are still active have been giving them the space and not pressuring in. There's another shot from Myken saved away by Alpha. It's been a huge defensive stand for the NA team since this Rule 1 has started. They've definitely been on the back foot for the twos portion of this game. But they've been, you know, just trying to get their Bama's shot high off the crossbar. Mashy's already got a savior medal. We've got 1:25 left to play here in Game 1.
Myken with a grilling opportunity, but Bama comes out of nowhere, getting a fantastic save, knock it off the bat ball, but Mash once again there, putting pressure on, and Alpha doing a good job of popping it over to his corner. Myken goes quickly, playing it over to the Mastiff corner, but once again, Alpha, we talked about him earlier, his defensive presence and knowledge is so powerful, and it is shutting down the side of Deathlok. What a play from him.
It's been great rotations from both sides as well. Nobody's overcommitting, not leaving their teammate as last man back. A little bit of a pass off of the Rule 1 in the corner. An opportunity for Alpha here, but the flick is soft. Myken has an easy save, and we just keep going around and around. We've seen both teams have opportunities at goal, and they get saved away. Another great shot from Alpha, saved strongly away by Myken, and it's going to go back down in the orange half.
Oh, but look, it looks like Mash actually bumps the Rule 1, and then Frizzle comes out of the Rule 1 immediately and gets that goal. So Mash bumping the Rule 1 accidentally. We saw in chat a sorry there, so it was not deliberate, and Frizzle comes out of it immediately and gets that goal. So we see Deathlok go up 1-0 in an extremely close matchup against Mastiff with 30 seconds remaining on the clock. I mean, in the NA scene, how good our teams are responding under pressure in these last 30 seconds.
It definitely is it's a little bit of a different, different feeling, especially with the ways that RSC works in playing a 4-game series. If you drop one, it's not necessarily the feeling the need to respond to be able to go back up in, and just like that, I mean, Myken's gonna give a little bit of insurance. You drop a goal or you drop a game, it's not like you need to bounce back to keep yourself from dropping the series like a best of, because you're going to play 3 more games, 2 more games, however many you have left anyways. So the mentality is a little bit different than in a best of like we're seeing here today. But I mean, just like that, the EU team, the Deathlok, has absolutely shown that they shouldn't be trifled with here. But we're going to see an NA series, an NA game for the next match in this, and maybe Mastiffs will have an opportunity to bounce back.
I think so too. I think they will be able to bounce back. You know, we did mention it previously, but the server changes and your connection changes to the server due to, you know, the switching between NA and EU. It does play a dividend. And we see Mastiffs playing extremely well with a total of 14 shots on goal. But look at their ping, and that's just commend them to them. However, what stands out to me is that Deathlok has half the amount of saves, yet are able to capitalize on it. So their shot percentage is much higher than the Mastiffs. Yes, that could play a factor of the ping, but if Mastiffs are putting this many shots on goal, they've got to capitalize on at least one.
Yeah, I agree. They've got to be able to find the back of the net some way, somehow. The unfortunate breakout with Frizzle and Ty coming out of that Rule 1. I didn't see exactly what the boost numbers were, but just judging by the fact that that Frizzle was so quick to get back into the rotation and immediately score makes me think that he probably had a little bit more boost sitting in that Rule 1 for almost 3 minutes than Ty did. So he was able to get back into it and score that first goal to get his team on the board, rather than Ty might have been stuck flat-footed with not a whole lot of boost to get back into it.
Indeed.
But I didn't exactly see what it came out as. But, definitely hoping to see 3v3 for 5 minutes here for the second game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was more of a 2v2 game. I mean, I think we both realized that for at least a minute it was 2v2. So, yeah, a good play, a good 2v2, and Fizzle was able to break out that Rule 1 and immediately jump in. So we're just waiting for players to join up to their respective lobbies, and they are doing so now, which is really good. Mastiffs, we don't know where they are. Hopefully they're joining. Yes, they are. It does look like it. They're waiting on one player. Yes, everybody's ready to go, and we're going to hop into game number 2. Looking for, it was extremely close, but just towards the end of that, we did see Deathlok run away with it. But I really am not counting Mastiffs out. They are so strong, and we saw the amount of shots they had. If they just need to start putting them into the back of the net.
Yeah, it was a very evenly matched game for the first one. There's another shot from Ty off of the side post there for first offensive opportunity for Mastiffs, and just like you said, they've got to turn those into the back of the net. They can't continue to rack up these shot numbers and not have any goals to show for it.
Indeed, and Chai accidentally, just missing the ball for the clearance, but fortunately Bama on the clean rotations. And something that I've really picked up on Mastiffs is how clean those rotations are. But going off the upright, Bama with an open goal miss. Super unfortunate for him. And it just gives opportunity for Deathlok to rotate back, but Bama comes back and gets his revenge on that open goal and says, nah. I should have scored that. Leon, let me take it off you. As we see Mastiff go up 1-0.
Finally get that opportunity on goal, and we saw Alpha last game miss a couple open nets as well, so he finally finds the back there, maybe gets the monkey off of his back, and the scoring is going to open up here for the Mastiffs, but definitely have to see if they can keep this momentum going forward and pile onto this lead.
Indeed, and something I was just mentioning, Mastiff's rotations are super clean, something which is really impressive, and Alpha showing some mechanics. Coming out of NA, we see a beautiful aerial control, bumping it off the ground, and then redirecting it into the goal. Beautiful mechanics from him.
Yeah, Alpha, we saw him last game as the offensive leader for Mastiffs, generating a lot of those shots. Finally, he's generating shots and finding the back of the net, rocking that gold cap, and showing, he's got those mechanics to be able to hang with the best of them. So he's got his team with a 2-goal lead, still on the EU servers as well. So a great start for the Mastiffs here in Game 2.
Indeed, and it was a mistake from my half. It's 2 games EU, then 2 games NA, and then the 5th game will go to EU because they won the coin flip. So my apologies, it isn't swapping each game because that would just be a nuisance. So after this, exactly. Game 3 is going to be on an NA server, and it's going to see what changes. But if Mastiffs take this on the EU server, the EU teams of Deathlok will have a mountain to climb, considering they'll be playing on the NA servers the next 2 games. As the ball is bouncing on the goal line, and Mash is able to get a fantastic save, a goal line save from him. We really see a fantastic amount of pressure coming out of Mastiffs. A bit of a double commit onto that shot, but can Ty get anything from it? No, he can't. EU Deathlok getting away scot-free then, when there should have been a goal surely for the side of Mastiff.
It has been a huge defensive stand for Deathlok for the past about 45 seconds. There was a couple opportunities coming out for the Mastiffs. Redirects from Ty and a shot from Bama that both just pinging off the crossbars. But finally, Ty finds the back of the net. Nobody's there to save him, player or woodwork otherwise. And a 3-goal lead now for the Mastiffs just before halftime.
Yeah, indeed, indeed, indeed. But what impressive goal from the side of Mastiffs. A very impressive shot indeed to pop it into the back of the net. Right now, it just seems all Mastiffs. Deathlok is playing from behind, always playing on defense. Mashi getting a fantastic redirect. Can Frizzle stop it? No, he can't. It's off the backboard once again. Deathlok missing a huge opportunity and a bit of an overextension coming out of the side of Mastiffs, leaving Frizzle with an open goal shot, and he's able to capitalize on it. But we see all three players from Mastiffs overextending up to that midfield, and Frizzle makes a tight turn to slot it into the back of the net.
That bad bounce and the whiff on the clear there might be a the first sign that we're seeing of this ping kind of being a disadvantage for the Mastiffs. It looked like it was an easily cleared ball, but if a packet loss had come up and something weird had happened, then could be a reason why that just got by so easily and opened the goal up so wide. But hard to tell here. Also could have just been a mistake and an error. Everybody getting a little bit too excited to break out and forgetting to hit the ball before they were moving downfield. But definitely Deathlok finally getting on the board. We'll see if they can keep this momentum turned around and catch back up to the Mastiffs here to even the series, or take a two-game lead rather than having the series be even at one.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I'm sure, knowing Frizzle and knowing Mash and knowing Mike, and I'm sure these guys will be wanting to bring this game back. They only like sweeps, these guys, they do. And so it is going to be interesting. But I'm sure Mastiffs are exactly the same mentality. They will want this victory. And I mean, we want it as casters. We want to see a game 5, don't we?
Absolutely. We want to see it go all the way. Bouncing all the way down long. Shot didn't quite get registered on the clear. Frizzle will take it into the corner. But yeah, we want to see all 5 games. I think everybody wants to see as much Rocket League as they can. We don't want to, be moving through these and be done an hour and a half early for everything. We want to be able to see all of it. An opportunity from Alpha, saved away by the defense. Ty's going to put it back in, and they'll find a gap in the defense. A 3-goal lead back again for the Mastiffs.
A 3-goal lead from Mastiffs. Their execution on their aggressive rotations, grabbing those mid boosts, are so effective. And it is making Deathlok's work in defense so difficult. They just have no room to breathe. So Mastiffs really showing up here in game 2 after losing in game 1. And this is a far more dominant performance from what we saw in game 1. Very impressive coming out of them.
Yeah, they're definitely showing that they're more of a 3s team than a 2s team. Ty's done a great job. He's been actually able to participate in this second game rather than being stuck to Frizzle's hood the entire time of the first game. So great to see all 6 players getting in and involved. An opportunity from Frizzle there across the front of the goal. It goes to waste, and now we go back down the other way. We're going to see if Mastiffs can continue to add to this lead.
Yeah, Mastiffs will be wanting to build this lead, but the ball is rolling in. I mean, anything is possible. I am an EU fan. I'm the EU caster. I am rooting for Deathlok to get it. Bring this game back. Maybe send it to overtime. I'd love that. But then again, Mastiffs, the way that they're playing right now is absolutely lights out. I'm so impressed with the rotations. I knew that NA would be good. I didn't realize they'd be this good.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a, you've been talking about how great the rotations have been. We saw a little bit of the rotations not being good there. Caught out a little bit too far forward, and that ball just on the long clear finds its way in the back of the net. They have looked particularly good, especially considering that we're still on the EU servers. We haven't seen it be a problem. Here's an opportunity for Frizzle. There's 8 seconds left. Still a chance now for the Deathlok to be able to score one more and send us to overtime for game 2.
If it goes to overtime, tell me, in EU, the mentality of these players is fairly rigid. I mean, they play so many games week in, week out. They know the routine. But in NA, what's the mentality? Do teams get tilted very easily?
I think it definitely varies team to team. With a team like the Mastiffs, I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe get a little over-anxious. Here's an opportunity, but it's not going to be quite far enough. We won't get to see overtime in game 2. Mastiffs will take it. But, I mean, these guys, for sure, everybody can get a little excited, especially when you jump from having a 3-goal lead to maybe going into overtime and throwing away that cushion. But I would say that, the difference between the two stylistically as far as overtime goes probably wouldn't be too different.
Yeah, indeed, indeed, indeed. But a very close game indeed between these two sides. It did look like Mastiffs were completely running away with it. However, Deathlok bringing it to a 1-goal difference and almost slotting one to take it to overtime. But Mastiffs and their defensive prowess holding on and fending away that overtime. It is tied up 1-1 in this best of 5 series. Exciting stuff indeed. I mean, what do you expect heading into this game 3? Both these teams are used to each other now. They've felt each other out. They know kind of understand each other's play style. Do you think it's only going to become closer, or is it going to be a bit more of a gap start emerging?
I think we're definitely going to see in this game number 3 switching to the NA server if that ping difference is going to make that much of a change, especially for the Mastiffs. I don't know if because we saw there in that game too that obviously the ping difference wasn't impacting the Mastiffs as far as their ability to generate any offense. We might have seen it contribute to some defensive mistakes, but I don't know if we're going to see them, continue to pop off even more, or if Deathlok, and even with Frizzle, who as an EU player still gets better ping on NA servers, maybe this will be Frizzle's pop off game, and we'll see him put Deathlok on his back and secure a game 3 win.
Indeed, and Frizzle is known for popping off. He does pop off when need be. But I mean, I'm sure you have players on the side of Mastiff who have this aerial potential. I mean, the player who comes to mind is Bama. I feel like he was so deadly in the air and doing some incredible stuff. And so all these sides, if you have a player who's really mechanically solid, really good at those aerial takes, it provides a little bit of comfort on attack for the rest of your team. But so does a player such as Alpha. That defensive prowess, it will also provide comfort. So you've accumulating a team with each player understanding their role and being good at their role is so positive. But it does look like the players are ready to join up to their respective teams and get this game number 3 underway. Just bear in mind, guys, just a reminder, this is on the USE server, so the NA guys are getting host this time. But we did see the NA guys taking a match away from Deathlok on the EU server, so it's all to play for as we head into this game.
Yeah, just seeing them take that on the EU servers means that I'm thinking in the back of my head that the EU same ability to be able to take that same the game away from the NA team on the NA servers. An opportunity here from Alpha is going to touch the crossbar. It looks like an own goal from Mykin will give the first goal to the Mastiffs. Unfortunate touch here, but Shifty starting the offensive pressure. Alpha's shot bar down, and then Mykin just kind of slots it into his own goal, and the Mastiffs off to a hot start.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed as this game is underway. 1 goal, an early goal for Alpha as an unfortunate attempted clearance from Mykin is slowly straight. A bit of a triple commit front of the front goal. Mash not able to get a shot. Frizzle is there but misses the ball as well, but so does Alpha. Alpha not able to get a clearance. Ty is able to try and do something to get the pressure away from his own net. A little bit of defense for the side of Mastiff, but they have done well to block everything. And Masher gets a free goal as a double commit happens in the center.
Yeah, we saw it already. The triple commit goes unpunished, but it manages to find its way back into the goal after another double commit soon afterwards. Not going to be what you want to see from either team, overcommitting on these kind of challenges, leaving their goal undefended, expecting a little bit more out of the rotations. We know both teams are capable of having those solid rotations. We saw it so much for the Mastiffs in games 1 and 2. They just got to keep their heads about them and not get too overexcited, and they will have an opportunity. What a shot from Ty, left to right, finding the back of the goal here, giving his team the lead right back.
A brilliant shot from him in a very tough angle, but he slots it very well. Pinpoint accuracy off that right upright. Very impressive indeed. As we see Mastiff take a 2-1 lead. Mash and Alpha going for that kickoff. Mash actually comes away with it. Benefit. Is there early aerial? No. Shifty gets there first and able to get a clearance. Frizzle trying to play over to the center. Nothing comes of it. As Ty able to once again rotate well and get a clearance. Micah with a beautiful booming clearance as well. It is back and forth. It's going to be who can control that midfield. Frizzle with a bit of an aerial shot off the backboard, but nothing comes of it as the rotation isn't there to capitalize on a shot. Micah now with an opportunity, dribble around 1, dribble around 2, a passing play almost into the back of the net. A beautiful opportunity coming out of Deathlok and a fantastic save from Ty. That would have been an incredible goal if slotted away for Deathlok.
Definitely a lot of offensive pressure coming out here for Deathlok. They've found a couple good looks but not able to convert them. The defense has been able to stand up to the task. An opportunity here, maybe on a breakout for the Mastiffs. It's been pretty back and forth so far. It was a lot more offense from the Deathlok. Here's another shot from Alpha, and he gets a 2-goal lead now for the Mastiffs. It's kind of like what we saw in Game 1. The Deathlok have been putting on the shots, but the Mastiffs have been converting, and that's been the story of the difference here for Game 3 and why the Mastiffs are on top.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And people are asking in chat, Sendy, what's Frizzle's ping? Frizzle's ping is 120, so there is no benefit for him by the looks of it on the NA server. So maybe he's just having trouble with his Wi-Fi connection. As we see Maiken trying to do a bit more dribbling like he was done previously. I mean, as you were saying, Mastiff's defense so impressive not to concede a goal in that previous onslaught from Deathlok. But now Deathlok over in Mastiff's heart. Can they do anything with it? Frizzle with a beautiful touch away from Ty, not able to do anything with it. Frizzle now going off the backboard. Can he pop it into the center? No, he can't. Ty is there to cause an obstruction. Maiken goes up for the shot, but Shifty reads it beautifully. Now Mash's turn to try and set something up. A little bit of a double commit, but the clearance does go straight to Maiken. Alpha now bumping Maiken all over the place. The goal is wide open. Can Mash get there? Yes, he can. With a beautiful clearance, he's going to follow up with a second touch. In the air, a booming clearance. Anyone there from the side of Deathlok do anything with it? No, it is blocked by Alpha. Alpha being that goal line defense that Mastiff sorely needed at that moment. What a save from him.
Great stand there from Alpha, but it's been a lot of offense from Frizzle. He's going to pick the outside corner there, and another rotational mistake taken advantage of by the Deathlok. They're finding these gaps in the defense, and the Mastiffs just getting a little too overeager, pushing up there and leaving their back line open. We saw a great stand, but then their push out for the counterattack was just a little bit too much, and the Deathlok finding an opportunity to be able to bring this back within one.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Very impressive and an opportunity almost for Deathlok once again to equalize, but Shifty out of nowhere, he emerges, shifting through the mist to make that save. What a save from him. As Ty now trying to put a counter attack on, but Maiken gets there really early. Frizzle trying to put it into the center. Anybody there to capitalize on their shot? No, they are not, but Mash does read Shifty's clearance very, very well, and it does go off the backboard, but Ty's backboard presence being almighty per usual. Shifty now on the counter attack. Frizzle looking for the pass over to Mash, but he does set Alpha up for a counter attacking play onto the Deathlok side. Anyone up there? Both players who went up there aerial did miss, allowing Shifty to keep the pressure onto Deathlok. Is he able to get the redirect? No, he isn't, because Maiken is there to get a little bit of a block. Alpha looking for the pass over to the center. Mash is there, pops it high above his own goal. Still pressure on the Deathlok side as Mastiffs are doing a fantastic job peppering. Frizzle with a breakaway. Can he do anything with it? No! They're making another save. Alpha is the alpha male when it comes to this defense. Was so impressive to see him play.
They've been having to really overextend on these defensive transitions. Mastiffs are getting too far forward when they push up on offense. And here's another one. It's going to find the back of the net. We're going to be tied because the Mastiffs are over-rotating forward just a little bit too much on that offensive pressure, and it's leaving their back line way too open. And now it's been 3 times that Deathlok have taken advantage of it and 3 goals for them. If Mastiffs want to take this game number 3, they've got to shore up their defensive rotations.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. These defensive rotations seem to have dropped ever since that first and second game. They were so clean in the previous games. And Masha putting another one in with 30 seconds remaining. What's happened to Mastiffs? Is this a tilt?
Might be a little bit of a tilt. Might just be, they're expecting a little bit less from the EU team just because of the ping number. Not expecting people to be hitting the ball as much as they are. Not expecting them to be quite as fast because they just are at a little bit of a disadvantage as far as connection goes. But the Deathlok are looking like a completely different team over the last minute and a half or so. It's been all EU so far, and right now, maybe an opportunity. Ty finding a gap there, the ball just rolling right outside the box, and we're tied at 4 again. Maybe we'll finally see an overtime.
Wow, wow, wow. This game is so unbelievably close. And it's been 8 goals in this game. It's not been a low-scoring game whatsoever. But Ty finding that gap and threading the needle into the back. Mash with the kickoff, and he does come out favorable. He'll be looking to steal one of the back boosts away from Mastiffs in order to get a bit of pressure. 9 seconds remaining. Anything happen? Can there be a breakaway goal for the side of Mastiffs? Maiken is there to get a touch. Anywhere there to follow it up. Shifty is there. It goes off the back right. Oh my words. I thought that was going in.
was a great opportunity for the Mastiffs, but just a little bit too high on the follow-up. Here's a kickoff. Ty getting to that one first, 50ing it into the corner. Maybe an opportunity from Alpha here. The shot is on, and the Mastiffs are going to take game 3.
What a finish from Alpha. Oh my word. It was a short overtime, but God, it was a sweet overtime.
Fantastic breakout off the kickoff for the Mastiffs. They did a great job of being able to get on top of everything and, bouncing back after dropping a lead, keeping their wits about them for that kickoff and taking advantage of it immediately, taking game number 3 and giving themselves the opportunity to be on match point on an NA server. So big stuff heading into game number 4 here for the Mastiffs.
Indeed. So, going to be interesting as we head into this game 4. I'm wanting Deathlok to take it. I want to see a game 5 where it is all cards on the table. But Mastiff, I did feel, I'm not me being biased, it's not me being you, but it did feel like Mastiff almost stole that from Deathlok. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely towards the end, down the stretch, Mastiffs got off to a hot start, but then out of nowhere, Deathlok brought it back, and it looked at the shoot like the second half of that game was all Deathlok. Just managed to get that last one. I mean, Mastiffs almost took it at the end of regulation, but then having a fortunate bounce off the kickoff and being able to find the back of the goal quickly definitely turned that one in their favor. I think if that overtime goes longer, it probably ends up going to the Deathlok.
Indeed. As we head into game number 4, Deathlok's life on the line in this series. Mastiffs just need to win this to take this best of 5. 3, 2, 1. However, we will be looking for a game 5 because I think that game 5 is going to be brilliant indeed. All the players are on their respective teams and they'll be getting underway very, very soon. Remember, this is a US East server, so if Deathlok take this, the game 5 will be on an EU server, and that could cause huge dividends on who takes away this victory. But immediately the kickoff goes in favor of Ty, who actually 50-50 with Mike, and Mike will do a fantastic job. Fizzle trying to do something with a dribble, and the first goal goes to Myken for the side of Deathlok. Deathlok coming out swinging. They were not happy about that previous L.
No, definitely getting out to a hot start. Frizzle doing all the work there for challenge from Bama, just popping it straight up outside his box. And Myken, no doubt about that one, slamming it home underneath the crossbar. 10 seconds in, and Deathlok already have a 1-goal lead.
10 seconds in indeed, but this is still all to play for. Early goals, yes, that gives you a bit more of a barrier, a bit more of a cushion to work with. However, it's still anyone's game. A breakaway goal, a mistake can lead to a goal, and you're right back in it for the side of Mastiff. So I won't be surprised if they equalize it, as Alpha doing a really good job. And what a pop from him, and Mash has to come away and make a clutch save to keep the score 1-0 in favor of Deathlok. A huge amount of pressure. I mean, Alpha is so impressive. He must be a player who really pops off in the NA scene.
Yeah, definitely has the ability to be able to put his team on his back. Here's another long shot for the EU side, but it'll be stopped away by Alpha on the back line. Frizzle trying to get it middle, but it'll be taken away by the defense again, and now we're going to see it go the other direction. It's really going to come down to if Mastiffs can keep their offensive attacks a little bit more under control. We saw them get a little bit ahead of themselves in game number 3, and it led to the comeback for Deathlok. If Mastiffs can find a goal while still being able to keep their rotations under control, I think they'll have a little bit of an easier time, but Deathlok are not going to make it simple for them.
Not going to make it simple whatsoever. As we just hit the 3.5-minute marker, it's all still to play for. Deathlok with a 1-goal lead, and Alpha is putting so much pressure on with his mechanics. Bama now popping out over into the back right corner for the side of Deathlok, but Myken reading it really, really well and aerialing it over Alpha as well. But a beautiful clearance lead it straight back to Alpha. Alpha trying to go for the redirect, playing it off the backboard, and a beautiful touch from Myken avoiding Bama's redirect into the goal, and Mash once again being that goal line keeper. What saves from him? He's really stepping up for this team. Bama now with an opportunity for a shot. Is it going to go in? No, it isn't. It's just wide. Frizzle now on the counter-attack. He's going to be looking down the goal on the flag. Bama is tracking him over to the side. It goes on the bad ball. Kanike cuts in. Yes, it is. Myken scores the second goal for Deathlok to take a 2-goal lead over Mastiffs.
That fast transition from Frizzle again leading the breakout of teammate and Myken. The same combo we saw for the first goal coming through again, giving his team a 2-goal lead. We saw an opportunity on the other end for the Mastiffs, just not able to find the back of the net. A couple shots coming out from a few players and just not able to get it in. There's a shot from Alpha. Mycon's not going to be able to save it. We're back within one. Alpha was starting to pop off. Maybe he can turn this one around.
This goal is actually gorgeous. He read the whole of Deathlok's team like a book, playing off the side wall, avoiding the bump and the demo, and just slotting it straight above the defensive player in goal, which I believe was Mash. So what a beautiful play from Alpha indeed. Frizzle now popping over to the center, looking for one of his teammates to capitalize, but Mycon cannot get there as he is beaten out by Ty. Brilliant defensive job from Ty. Goes off the backboard once again. Alpha is there, and Alpha is the man who's been doing so much work for the side of Mastiffs, and puts it into the center for Bama to equalize as we hit the 2.5-minute marker halfway through this game. Alpha has just stepped up.
He's taken the game and he said that it's his to control. He's given his team the lead, or the tie right back. They're tied at 2 after being down 2-0. It's been like 30 seconds and the Mastiffs have scored 2 goals. And this is what you want to see from a player like Alpha. You want to see him put his team on his back, just as we've seen Frizzle do for the Deathlok. He'd lead their teams through to victory. And the 2.5 minutes left, 2:15 now, still a lot of time left to be played, and it's going to be interesting. Bama slamming that one off of the crossbar, and just like that, the Mastiffs are back in front.
Mastiffs taking a lead with 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, and that was actually so gorgeous. Alpha was on that backboard and actually able to redirect it directly down to Bama, who slotted it in. I don't know how intentional that was, but let's call it that was intentional, because that was such a beautiful passing play.
Would have been calculated in the chat for sure if you're in a ranked game. Looking like it's on purpose, but Alpha has absolute on so far over the last couple minutes. We saw Mastiffs, squeak away with a win in game number 3. And it looked like they were going to kind of start out on the back foot in game number 4, coming out looking a little disoriented, but Alpha's absolutely turned it around, and they're looking great here. A minute 40 left. Not a great clear from Ty, but Bama will have the challenge on Frizzle, and back the other way we're going to go. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this up. It's been on and off, but kind of inconsistent for the Mastiffs. We've seen some stretches of them being really good, like the last minute and a half or so, and we've seen some stretches of them being really poor, like we saw at the end of game number 3. So it's going to be up to the Deathlok to be able to try to take this one back. They need one more goal to stay alive in this series.
Indeed, and that is like the difference maker. I do feel like Mastiff has had fleeting moments of brilliance, like you said, but there have been moments of poor. But Deathlok has kind of just been this continuous medium level. You know what I mean? They're continually performing at the same rate, and that they just need to kind of. It's all down to Mastiff. If they continue up performing well, then they'll take this victory. But if they let it slip, Deathlok will punish them and they will take a goal. And so right now it is all riding on Mastiff and their performance, but Ty doing a really good job of beating Frizzle, putting it over into the center, but Mash able to rotate back. Mash has been such an anchor in defense for this side of Deathlok. It comes down to this last 30 seconds. Can Deathlok put a goal on the board to take it to a game 5? Or is Mastiffs going to take the first series of this NA versus EU show match evening, as Mash is there putting some pressure onto the side of Mastiff, but able to get cleared from Alpha. Now this is the last opportunity. Ty getting a really good block. Mike and putting it into the center, but nobody is back for the side of Deathlok, but it is kept up in the air, and it looks like Ty is probably going to kill this. No, Mike able to keep it up into the air. It's still popping up into the air. Can anyone do anything with this? Still up in the air. The game has not ended yet. Both teams wanting to keep the game flowing. Can anyone get there in time before it drops down? Mash able to get there. Just he goes off the sideball. Is anyone there to pop into the back of the net? No, it is cleared down, and the game is over. The first series of the NA EU show matches goes in the side of NA's Mastiffs with a fantastic performance, taking the series 3-1. Wow. That was such a fantastic game.
It was a great stuff from both sides. Mastiffs really being the beneficiaries of that win that they were able to steal on the EU servers. And then, like you said, the Mastiffs had this. They were very back and forth between being good and just objectively bad, especially in their rotations at times. And the Deathlok took advantage of every single one of those missed rotational opportunities that they were given. But the Mastiffs just had a little bit more firepower than the Deathlok could pull out, especially on these NA servers. And that one game win on the EU for the Mastiffs was just enough to be able to give them that series win. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see game number 5. We would have loved to see it go back to the EU server for one more, but great stuff from both sides, close games all around, and definitely looking forward to getting to watch these next 2 series between the 4 more teams that we have left on the docket.
Indeed, 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 and that was a fantastic series. And take Mastiffs take it 3-1. I don't think the series scoreline really does justify of how close those games were.
Yeah, for
Three
sure.
one. It was a 3-1, but it almost was it should have been called a 3-2. Do you know what I mean? That's how close it
Yeah.
was. That's how the scoreline was. But credit where credit due. I'm gonna hold my hands up. I am the EU cast. I was rooting for Deathlok, but Mastiff, they deserved win. They played out of their minds, and oh my god, I cannot talk about this series. I won't be able to talk to anyone about this series without mentioning Alpha. Alpha, Alpha, Alpha. What a star player that man is. I mean, he is incredible. He really popped off, and I hate to say it, no offense to the rest of the players on Mastiffs, but he almost carried. I felt towards the end of that.
Especially in that game number 4, we definitely saw him put his team on his back. And I mean, in the same token for Deathlok, we saw Frizzle kind of do the same thing, whether it was scoring or opening things up just through generating some offensive pressure, the flicks, finding passes to the middle, or putting the ball in the back of the net themselves. We saw it go a little bit of both ways for both sides, but Alpha just a little bit more momentum, and his teammates a little bit more ready to be able to take advantage of it. We saw 4 games total, 2 games on both servers. So the just a little bit extra of them being able to find that, the Mastiffs being able to find that same offensive pressure on the EU server, was really what gave them that boost, and it allowed them to be able to take this in 4 instead of in 5. And we were talking about that game number 3 win for the Mastiffs. I think that if that overtime doesn't end in 7 seconds, the Deathlok probably end up winning it, because they just find a hole in the rotations of the Mastiffs, and they are able to put it in the back on a rotational mistake. But because they get it in right off the kickoff, the Mastiffs steal that game number 3, and then that opens it up for them to be able to take match point for game number 4 and take the series.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, that was a fantastic series. And Huds, thank you very, very much for joining me on the casting desk. Anything you want to plug before we head into a break? 'Cause I believe we're changing casters on the NA side, yeah?
We will be getting a new caster in here. I don't really have any personal that I want to plug. Always plug the NA streams. You can catch me casting and streaming on there occasionally throughout the week. We're about halfway through our season, and a little bit more than halfway through the NA season. So coming down the stretch, we're going to have some great action as people vie for playoff spots. And then the end of March will see us start our playoffs as well. I believe March 29th will be the end of our season for playoffs. So always, EU guys, if you're around, I know that the timing can be a little bit weird because we start our stuff at like 10:30 US East, which makes it the middle of the night for EU. But if you're ever bored at work, sitting around at home, and you want to check out the VODs on the Twitch or the YouTube, always there, and we'd love to see the support from across the pond. And I have really enjoyed being here and getting the cast and see some of this EU talent, which is something I don't get to see enough. So thank you so much, Hopsa, for having me here. Big shout outs to Liquid Sight for being the driving force behind organizing all this stuff, getting the teams together, and Senji in the back running the stream. I do it occasionally, and I know that it's not the cake job that some people think it is. You gotta have a lot of plates spinning at once. So shout outs to you guys, and had a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome. And you are getting a lot of love from the EU guys in chat as well for how great your casting is. Angelou in here, and Woozy Panda as well. Doing fantastic job indeed. But yeah, Huds, man, it's been a pleasure having you here. And I personally, I'm going to be there. I'm usually up till 4, 5 a.m. doing some editing, especially when I'm casting in the other Halo NA stuff. I'll be usually away there. I'll make sure I tune in. But guys, make sure, if you are from the EU guys, EU, RSEU, go check out the NA side over the other side of the pond, as you said, because, we are a family. We're the RSC family after all, and we support each other. But yes, I believe, guys, we're going to head to a break. Go grab yourself some water. Go grab yourself some coffee. Go grab yourself some food, because we'll be right back for some more NA versus EU RSC action.